So wetsuits come in various sizes. You know, they come in all the standard sizes you would think of, from extra small to medium to large. And then on either side of each one of those sizes, there's short lengths and tall some people, you know, there's really all different types of body types. There's some people that might have a really long arms or really long legs. There's all different measurements, whether it's the chest bone to crotch measurement or the length of legs. There's some that are wider, some that are taller. All those sorts of things need to be taken into account when fitting a wetsuit. So the wetsuit fit guide is really just a ballpark guideline and a starting point of what you want to look at when you're sizing a suit. There's all sorts of different body types and body shapes, and you've got to look at both circumference and girth as well as height when you're looking at fitting. So Makai is wearing a suit that's approximately one size too big, and I'm going to show you why. Another reason why you know this suit is too big is that the neck's coming up pretty high in Makai. You want it to fit a little lower so it's not rubbing against your chin. So as you can see, the knees, there's a lot of bunching and bagginess here, which and you're getting a lot of movement here, so it's not fitting snug there. And then up around the neck, there's a lot of bunching here. You really want everything to fit snug, but not too snug. A lot of, you know, you don't want extra wetsuit material bunching up, because that's a place that's just going to be able to trap water, which is going to keep you cool.
So what are the common problems with trying on a wetsuit? I know it can be a little difficult, you know, in the beginning to find the right size for you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, fit is everything, you guys. Wetsuit fitting properly is really what it comes down to, and you really being happy with your wetsuit purchase. So when you try on a wetsuit, a lot of times you start out looking at the fit guide, and that's going to give you the opportunity to get as close as you can on the fit and getting your right size. So then what you want to do is you want to take a couple options, and I recommend trying at least 2 suits on to make sure that you really nail this fit thing and and understand which one feels the best. If after 2 suits you need to try on another suit to make sure you get it right, it's really worth it. Now what's going to happen is you're going to get hot, right? Hey, naturally that's what wetsuits are designed to do. They're doing their job, but you start to perspire a little bit. And the wetsuit guys and the staff at Surfside, they'll have some tricks for you on how to get wetsuits on easier in the dressing room once you get to that point. There's putting on a plastic bag over your foot and a couple little tricks.
That's my go-to trick.
Yeah, a couple little tricks like that'll make it easier. But it's really important you try on enough wetsuits to make sure you nail the fit.
Just going like a size up and a size down and then your regular, just to see how things work out? I mean, would you?
I would start off on your size. And make sure you try on a couple suits right in your size and start there. That's really your basis from where you're going to go. And you're going to know right away, hey, I know the size chart says this, but I'm feeling like it's a little too short or a little too long, whatever it is. And the staff will help you gear in and try on the right suit from there. But it's really a starting point.
An exploration to find what is the perfect fit for you. So
it is.
Take your time with it, right?
It's worth the investment and the time. So a great example of a suit that fits snug and too small is this medium short that Nick is wearing. Nick's 6 feet tall, and he typically wears a medium tall, but this is a medium short. And really where you see the evidence of this, it's really, you can see it's pulling down on Nick's shoulders. You can see by how the collar is really low on his neck and too low. You really see it in his arms, in that it's probably 1 inch to 2 inches too short on Nick's arms. And then really the same on his ankles and legs, that it's really a little bit too short, maybe another thing is the knee pads on Nick. His knees are really at the top part of the knee pad here, when they really should be right in the middle for optimum fit. As Nick turns around, again, we really see that the shoulders, the wetsuit's really pulling down on his shoulders, and that there's just a little bit of hanging up that we wouldn't have if Nick was in the proper size suit. So now Nick and Makai are wearing the correct size suits. Nick was in a medium short rather, and now he's wearing a medium tall, his proper size suit. And the same with Makai, was wearing an extra large, and now he's wearing an extra large short. So really what changed from the last suit, the extra large that Makai was wearing, is this proper fitting extra large short doesn't have the bunching in the shoulders that we saw, the bunching down in the middle of the suit, and where we were getting a lot of bunching where water could pool up. We've really eliminated that by putting Makai in the proper size suit. He's got a lot of just really comfortable mobility without that bunching again. So this suit is going to fit him, it fits him well, and it's going to keep him warm because it's really not going to hold a lot more water than is necessary. So with Nick, you'll notice from the last suit he was wearing, he doesn't have the pulling that we had in the shoulders. We know that the wrists on that medium short were running about 2 inches short. This fits him perfect. It's right to the end of his wrist. So we like the way that fits. And then down on the leg, the same thing. Down at the ankle, the last medium short was running about 1 inch short, and this fits Nick perfect. Also, back to the knee pads, his knees were running a little high on the knee pads, and here we like that they're right in the middle of the knee pad. That really shows a perfect fit. So this suit, we really have a lot better fit on the neck, and then we notice we have a lot less pulling on the shoulders here in this properly fitting suit on Nick. So really where that's going to benefit you in the water is when you're surfing and you have paddle. What you don't want, he really has a lot of free range motion here. What you don't want is that that pulling on the shoulders that's really going to make you more fatigued in the water. So a properly fitting suit equals more time in the water, more comfort, and just a much better time surfing.
Jace, what's your thoughts on suits that feel a little bit snug when you're trying them on, but people think they loosen up in the water?
Yeah, I think if a suit fits you a hair snug, that's probably okay, because it will loosen up just a little bit in the water. The first surf or two even, it might feel just a little bit tight, but it will loosen up a little bit in the water. Now, if a suit, you got to be realistic. If a suit fits you too tight, then you got to be honest with yourself, and you probably got to move into a different size and relook at it.
So back in the day, all I had was a back zip. Now there's chest zips. What's the idea on that, and where do certain customers fall into either wanting a back zip or going for the chest zip? How do you know which one to get?
Yeah, here's really the thinking behind a back zip versus a chest zip. So like you said, Makai, all suits were really back zips.
Foundation.
You know, all the way through up until this point, and back zips are still a you know, a lot of people wear back zips, and great surfers wear back zips. There's really, I'll talk about that in a second. And then the other option is really this chest zip. So here's the way to think about it. If you think about a wetsuit, there's one thing on a wetsuit that doesn't stretch, right? And that's really the zipper. So what happens is, by taking this fixed zipper that doesn't stretch, by taking it off a really key mobility point, your back, and putting it onto onto your upper chest, which is not a mobility point, you'd say, and you don't really need a lot of stretch and movement here. You're going from a zip that's this long, which is maybe 12 to 14 inches long, and going on to a zip that's about 7 inches long. So you're really adding flexibility when you go to a chest zip. So what's the downside of a chest zip? The downside of a chest zip is getting in and out of it. That's probably something that a little bit of people, and typically, you know, this is a generalization, but basically what you're doing is you're going in through this top, and what you would do to get into a chest zip, it's really easy in theory, is you fold it down like you're putting on a pair of pants. That's the really easiest way to start out. And then on most suits, depending, and there's a couple different chest zip designs out in the market, and we actually have a couple different ones at Quicksilver. We typically we recommend that you go in with your right arm first, and then put your left arm. So you pull the thing up like you're putting on a pair of pants real high, and then you go in.
The lefties never get any love.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the way, the angle of the zip, because it's fixed on this side.
That's
so
right.
It's easier if you put it in this, then you're going to try and get the flap over and get your right arm in. Right arm in first, and you're able to kind of shimmy it up and over.
It makes it a lot easier because you have a lot more freedom on the left side of this angled zip. The synchro is different. The synchro you could really go in either way, not to confuse it. But it's just a good rule of thumb. Right arm in, left, and then first, and then going out, you would do the reverse. You'd take your left arm out first, and then your right arm, and it really makes getting into a chest zip a lot easier.
And Jason and Nick, do you think that like a lot of beginner surfers like the back zip because it's easier to understand, and once you kind of get a better feel for surfing, that you would kind of graduate to the chest zip?
I wouldn't say it really has to do with your surfing level. I think it has to do with what people are really looking for in the suit. I know people that have just started that they hear all the good things about chest zip and they want it right away.
Yeah.
I think the trick is trying it on a couple times. It's really hard, especially trying it on in the dressing room here. You're hot, you're sweaty, like trying to figure out a chest zip. It's a little bit difficult, especially for bigger guys, like extra large guys. I have like pretty big shoulders.
Right here, buddy.
It's a little bit harder to kind of figure out in the beginning, and people get discouraged. And when we put people in the dressing room, sometimes people get discouraged trying to figure it out, especially if they're not trying to put the right arm in first.
Yeah.
They get a little bit discouraged and go, I just want to back zip because it's easier.
I just asked for dressing room assistance, and it always works out.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
But I think those of us who've been surfing a while, once you get used to a chest zip, a lot of times you'd never go to a back zip again. So it's a personal preference. It's an ease of getting in and out, and really a flexibility issue on the wetsuit. But there's still, like I said, great surfers who still love a back zip.
So you guys make your chest zip in every single model. You make it in the Synchro, in the Ignite, and in the Cyphers.
That's true. Every suit we offer, we do it we do a chest zip version at least.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yep.
Because you give everyone an opportunity to get in there.